Yes, that's right, it's Joe here for Joyrider TV. Yes, there have been a tremendous amount of new entries on the speed stick in the last month, including a new leader on the leaderboard. So stay tuned to find out who has been cooking some goose in the last 4 weeks. If you're not familiar with the Global Speed Stick competition, it is a speed sailing competition where we use GPS devices to record how fast you are going. We're taking just the maximum speed because I feel that has got the widest possibility of people getting involved. So all you need to do, go sailing. More wind than this would be preferable, but go sailing, sail as fast as you can with your GPS device on, and then afterwards send me the details where you were, who you were sailing with, what you were sailing, how fast you went. Send in a photo for the next update video or some video, and a screenshot of your GPS device as the evidence. That's how it works. Let's jump in and see who have been the new entries in this past month. Okay, so we've got a lot of entries now. So in 127th, sailing in Uganda. Yes, Uganda have joined the speed stick. In Nyanza Sailing Club on Lake Victoria, with a speed of 11.1, sailing in Ilka 7 is Igor. Yes, Igor, great job getting on the stick. And like I've said before, when you're getting on the stick, you're not only competing against other people around the world, you're also competing against yourself. So if you put on a speed of 11.1, you know that next time you go out, that is your target to beat. Very nice. Okay, in 123rd, we've got Felix, also sailing in Ilka, this time a 6, the slightly smaller sail, sailing in Luleå in Sweden with a speed of 12.52. Then in 119th, we've got Thierry sailing a Topcat F1 solo on Lake Merton, Switzerland, with a speed of 13.4. Then one place ahead is Chris and Igor sailing a Hobie 16, again in Uganda. Igor flying the flag for Uganda on the stick, in Entebbe Sailing Club on Lake Victoria with a speed of 13.4 knots. Yes. And in 114th, Igor, again in Uganda, sailing solo on a Hobie 16 with a speed of 13.93. Great job, Igor, getting on the stick. Looking forward to seeing you notch it up over the next couple of weeks. Then in 113th, we've got Mike and Tom sailing a Hobie 16 on Lake Minnetonka, Minnesota, USA, with a speed of 14.1. Great job there. In 107th, we're going to Ottertail Lake, Minnesota, and on the Hobie Getaway, we have Dirk, who's hit a speed of 14.6 knots. Great job there, Dirk. Really homing in on the 14.6 speed range. Dirk's already got other speeds, which are all within 0.5 of that speed. All right, then in 105th, we've got Tobias sailing an RS Aero 5, single-handed performance monohull, 5-metre sail, sailing right here, Vasiliki Bay, Lefkas, Greece, with a speed of 14.8 knots. Great job, Tobias, and there's a good speed to beat for any aero sailors out there. Then in 103rd, we've got Michael sailing a Hobie 16 solo on Lake Minnetonka, Minnesota, USA, with a speed of 15 knots on the nose. Very good. Then in 100th position, and this is a notch up, an improvement for Andreas on the Topcat K4X, sailing on Forgensee, Bavaria, Germany, with a speed of 15.2. Very nice to have a notch up there. Another notch up for Pierre and Lynn in 97th, sailing a Hobie Tiger on Lake St. Joseph, Quebec, Canada, with a speed of 15.5. Great job, notching it up. Now let's see if we can get her up to 16 knots. Then in 96th position, we've got Stephen sailing a Prindle 16 solo, again on Lake St. Joseph, Quebec, Canada, with a speed of 15.5. Seems that Lake St. Joseph has a speed limit of 15.5 at this time. All right, they're notching it up to 92nd. We've got Sam and Meg sailing a Hobie 18 Magnum on Lake Lowell, Indiana, USA, with a speed of 16.2 knots. Then one faster for Hans in 91st, sailing a Hobie FX1 on Randers Fjord in Denmark, with a speed of 16.5 knots. Very good job there, Hans. Then in 89th, we've got Emmerich and Jacinto sailing a Hobie 16 in Carloforte on Sardinia, Italy. Why do we not have more boats sailing on Sardinia? Must be some great sailing there. With a speed of 16.6 knots. Great job. In 86th position, we've got Steph and Chantal sailing a Prindle 16. Smashing through that Lake St. Joseph speed limit on Lake St. Joseph, Quebec, Canada, with a speed of 16.8 knots. Great job there, guys. Then in 82nd, we've got Tim on Thunder Bay, Michigan, USA, sailing the Hobie 16 solo, speed 17.1. Yes, the juice is out there. We are cooking some goose with the juice around the world now that we're entering into the 17s. In 76th, we've got Benny, who is sailing a Hobie 18 solo, I believe, on Lake Rotten, Sweden, with a speed of 17.3 knots. Then we've got some real grouping here. Lots of new entries. 74th position for Matthew and Will, sailing a Hobie 16 on Texas City Dyke Yacht Club, Texas, USA, speed 17.4 knots. Then we've got Johnny and Finley sailing on Lake Worth, Texas, USA, Hobie 16, with a speed of 17.5 knots. Then in 72nd, we've got Lawrence and Hans sailing right here, Vasiliki Bay, Lefkas, Greece, on a Hobie Tiger. A great choice. The Hobie Tiger is potentially a very fast boat. For 72nd position, speed 17.5. Also on 17.5, we've got Robert notching it up on the FX1, sailing on Markelmeer in the Netherlands, with a speed of 17.5, also on 17.5, as stated. You're not going to believe it, but also on 17.5, do GPS devices do a bit of 1 decimal place rounding, maybe. But we have Andreas and Heinz sailing a birdie fish. That is a very stable foiling monohull. Great boat. Sailing on Forgensee, Bavaria, Germany, in 70th position. Then in 69th, man, we've got Bill sailing a Hobie 16 solo, sailing in Point Harbor, North Carolina, USA, with a speed of 17.6 knots. Yes. Then in 68th, notching it up for Chris, on the Hobie 16 solo, sailing in Phillips Lake, Maine, USA, with a speed of 17.6 knots. Then keeping it in the USA for Zach and Carter, notching it up on the Hobie 18. They've got a speed of 17.7 knots, sailing the Hobie 18 in Thunder Bay, Michigan. Then in 66th position, Justin for Juanan and Chus, sailing a Topcat K2 in Alicante, Spain, with a speed of 17.8 knots. Very close to 18 there, guys. Keep pushing and it will be yours. 64th position, we've got Mika and Hunter sailing the Nacra F18 on Eufaula Lake, Oklahoma, USA, with a speed of 17.8 knots. Great job there, guys. Then in 62nd, we've got Bobby sailing the Hobie 18 Formula in Pymatuning, Pennsylvania, USA. Hobie 18 Formula, did I mention, with a speed of 17.9 knots. Cooking some serious goose there. Then smashing through the 18 knot barrier in 60th position. Now that shows the quality of the speed stick this year. 60th, you have to have done 18 knots. Amazing. We've got Belly and Juan Antonio sailing a Topcat K2. Again in Alicante, Spain, with a speed of 18.08. Very nice. Then heading over to Lake Sempa, Switzerland, we've got Marty and Lars sailing the Hobie 18 with a speed of 18.2. Very nice. 54th, we've got Lorenz, Ruth and Chris, 3 up, sailing the Hobie Fox on Nordsee, Austria, with a speed of 18.35. Yeah, so if you're sailing the same boat with a different number of personnel, you get multiple entries on the stick. So if you're sailing solo, that's 1 entry. If you're sailing with 2 people, 2 entries. Sailing with 3 or more people, you could have 3 entries on the stick. There we go. In 51st, we've got Tim sailing a Hobie 14 Turbo in Perth, Australia, with a speed of 18.7, showing that the season is still on in Australia. So let's keep having some entries coming through from down there. Then in 50th, we've got Eduardo sailing solo on a Hobie Tiger, sailing in Buzios Sailing Club out of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, with a speed of 18.7 knots. Then fresh in today, no less, in 49th position, we've got Brent and Tim sailing an Inter 18 from Nacra on Haringvliet, Nederlands, that might be known as Holland in your neck of the woods, with a speed of 18.8. We're getting very quick now. 45th for Ron and John, sailing in Hobie 16 in Ocean Springs, Mississippi, USA. One of my top 5 places to go sailing in the world, I think, with a speed of 19.03 knots. Now we are into the top 40, where we have Zach sailing on the Rockport Reservoir, Utah, USA, Hobie 16 solo, of course, 19.29 knots. Then in 39th, we've got Scott and Eames sailing a Hobie 16 on Cultus Lake, Oregon, dropping it in the slot with 19.4 knots. Then in 38th, we've got Mike and Andre sailing a Nacra F18 Infusion on Lake Pepin, Lake City, Minnesota, USA, 19.4. Heading over to Mission Bay, San Diego, California, USA, sailing a Hobie 16 solo at a speed of 19.5 knots. We've got Greg. Then in 36th, we've got Johnny sailing a Hobie 16 solo on Lake Worth, Texas, with a speed of 19.6. Then in 35th for Tobias and Michael, sailing a Hobie 16 right here, Vasiliki, Lefkas, Greece, with a speed of 19.6. Very nice. I'd have to say this is one of the fastest places to sail in the world. So if you want to do some fast sailing, but your location doesn't quite cook the goose enough, doesn't quite cut the mustard, doesn't quite put the cheese on the burger, then you know you need to come here and get up there by the mountain, water's flat, sheet in, bear away, hold on tight. Very nice. Okay, so now we're heading up to 31st position, where we have Koen sailing in Gravelingenmeer in the Netherlands on a Nacra 16 solo with a speed of 19.95 knots. that must have been very exciting. Then just missing out on joining the 20 knot club, we've got Mike, who is sailing on Lake Arthur, Pennsylvania, USA, with a speed of 19.98. You know what you've got to do, Mike. You've got to get out there again and send it that little bit more. So in 18th place, we've got Johan and Karina sailing a Hobie Wildcat F18 on Versmeer, Nederlands, with a speed of 20.8 knots. Very quick indeed. Okay, and now we are into the battle for the Hobie 16 solo competition. In 11th place, dropping it in the slot, notching it up for Scott, sailing on Cultus Lake, Oregon, USA, with a speed of 22.3 knots. Anything over 20 knots single-handed on a 16 is seriously quick. As we get above 20 knots, the speed, the difference between the speeds gets larger. I believe, is this curve exponential? Is that what it's called? Put it in the comments from the maths department. Then in 10th place, we have Greg, also solo on a Hobie 16, sailing in Knock, Belgium, with a speed of 22.4. Great job, Greg. Then in 6th place, sailing on Lake Thun, Switzerland, we have my old friend Jan Leo. He is sailing a Wasp. Now that is a foiling mono hull. And he's taken his Wasp to 23.3 knots. Very, very quick. So there has been a change in the top three. In third position now, getting knocked down a position, we've got Jack and Tom sailing a Hobie 16 in Somers, Victoria, Australia. Speed 25.52. Rapid. Yes. In second place, we've got Sam and Harry sailing in out of Marakura Yacht Club, New Zealand, on a Nacra 20 FCS with a speed of 27 knots. So who's in first place? Well, if you've been staying abreast of current affairs, you will already know. It is Kevin and Joe. Yes, that's me. Sorry for doing this, but it was there. I've been told, got to get on the stick. Sailing the Nacra 20 FCS, foiling on Lake Como, Italy, with a speed, not the speed that was featured in the video, because to keep some consistency with my personal results, I'm choosing to use the Water Speed app, which takes a 2-second average, and the speed on the Water Speed app was 28.91 knots for a 2-second average. So, leading the leaderboard, Lowriders Club, non-foiling, we've got Jack and Tom on the Hobie 16 in Victoria, Australia. So that is the speed to beat if you're not foiling, 25.52. At the moment, in contention for winning the I Sailed Faster Than Joe competition this year, we've got Jack and Tom, and then Disco and Jimmy sailing in New Zealand on the Tornado with a speed of 24.6. So I think I've got some work to do before I start sending out a load of t-shirts at the end of the season. Okay, so there we go. A lot of new entries. That's why I had to bang through it reasonably quickly. So if you're going out sailing, get on the stick. Do keep it safe though. Before you go and send it down the mine shaft, do a bit of sailing upwind, do a bit of sailing on a 2-sail reach, and only when you're comfortable doing that, that is the time to take it down the mine shaft. If you want to know more about taking it down the mine shaft, check out this video. Otherwise, I'll see you soon with some more on Joyrider TV.